Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Council President John Goodhouse. Hope everyone's having a great day, being safe. The purpose of this meeting is a virtual business roundtable for business owners and also people in the community of Tigard to go ahead and ask questions of what might be going on, listen to concerns they may have, talk about programs that may be working, may not be working, or also let the city know, or myself, what's going on in the community, what we should work on, what needs to be done. I wanted to give a little bit of an introduction to myself, and then we'll be able to post questions in the comments, and I'll be able to go ahead and respond to those answers. We'll get information back, answer what we can or cannot do, answer it now, and then we can get back to you later as well. And also our economic development manager, Lloyd Purdy, is also viewing this as well, so any questions that are asked, you can also come in. With the time right now that's doing social distancing, we're kind of in different areas, so rather than being in one spot, Lloyd's not able to be here right now, but he is watching this and able to answer questions as well. So quickly again, my name is John Goodhouse. I'm the Tigard Council President, and a couple of reasons why I want to do this as well is I'm very active not only with the city, but the League of Oregon Cities, which helps with over all the cities in Oregon, helps work on issues that are focused on them. We've been doing a lot of calls with the governor, the Oregon Health Authority, different representatives, the federal level, Congress, state level as well. I'm also a board of directors member of the National League of Cities, which represents all the cities in the United States. So I've been on a lot of calls and working in depth with the different government locally and on the federal level, really working on trying to get more for businesses with the payroll protection program, trying to work on the EIDL, also working with the employment department in Oregon, anywhere from that all the way up to the White House on calls regularly, daily, throughout the week. So I want to hear what's working, what's not working, what else I need to focus on when I go on those calls, either back on the federal level with our Congress people or senators, with the White House or any of the Oregon Health Authority, Governor's Office, anything like that. I don't know if we have any questions coming in yet or not. I also wanted to make people aware, since this is a business focus, that the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation has opened up a grant process and accepting applications, and that web address is, and I think Kent can share it, he's helping me out here, but it's www.safesmallbusiness.com, and I'll give this to him so he can post that, but that's being opened right now. I know that Tigard had a program that was out, and that application period is closed. Washington County had one as well, and that period is closed. But as they open up, we're trying to get out the message of where other places the businesses can apply for grants or loans or lending. We also have, if there's any nonprofits watching or not, the city has opened up a resident aid fund of Tigard called RAFT, and we can show that link as well. But that's going to help nonprofits, faith-based organizations, government agencies, or service districts. And we'll also post that link in there too as well. That period's open right now, and I think it's open for a week. So that'll be listed there as well for people to go ahead and jump in there and see if that's something applicable, or if not, pass that on to any of the nonprofits or those helping that people may need residential aid. Do we have any questions popping in? So city, we had a Tigard Cares program. We're still going through that process of processing those applications. We've awarded some of the grants already. We're working on some of the larger loans that go from 5 to 50,000. We're also working on some of the micro loans from 5 to 10,000. So the city is currently processing and working with the partners on that as well to go ahead and process those loans and get that money out. And we're also taking a look and see what else we can do. The big thing I'm trying to do is to focus on with the Paycheck Protection Program that ran out of money, and so we're pushing our federal legislators to really put another $250 billion into that, so our business owners can get that money. A lot of people, by the time they jumped in, it was too late to get the application in, or their bank wasn't a member that participated in it. And so we're really pushing. I'm pushing, and the city's pushing, and all our local officials are really pushing for the federal level to get that money, additional $250 billion into there. For when cities businesses open, We're trying right now, there's a lot of businesses in Tigard that are open. We're trying to do our best to really list what businesses are open, support local, find ways we can help them out. And as those slowly start opening, we'll have to just basically see what we can do more to support local business, help them out. I think that's the big thing that's important during these times, is to be aware of who's open, and then once businesses are open, go ahead and find a way to frequent them and help them out with, of course, being safe and being the social distancing. I think the big thing is with Tigard is that we were able to take $300,000 of money that we took from our emergency fund for businesses and turn that to $1 million for local businesses here in Tigard. And that was really a huge program that helped out a lot of businesses. Didn't fit everyone, didn't help everyone out, but we did our best to do it. And Washington County emulated and did a similar program as that and helped out a lot of businesses as well. One of the questions when we sent this out is what's being done for landlords, and I know that right now there's a gap that's being missed on that. If someone owns a commercial property or someone owns apartments or rental homes, and so that's something that we're working to at the state and federal level to see if we can get done in upcoming packages to go ahead and include that in there. As business owners and residents are getting some support or those ones right now with the no eviction and also not having to pay rent and services, they're currently in a place where they're might not be able to pay their mortgages or be able to take care of that. The local chamber has actually been great. If people haven't done so, go ahead and follow the Tigard Chamber of Commerce, their social media, or sign up for the newsletters. They're really active as far as getting information out. That link that is listed as far as the National Chamber of Commerce over the weekend, immediately that got posted. I think actually it was on Friday that got posted that today on Monday that would go live and they started accepting applications. The Chamber's doing a great job of staying on top of what's happening, what's going on, and also ways to advocate to our federal and local elected leaders to go ahead and get what's needed for businesses. So that's a great way to stay in tune with that, but also a way to get involved and submit letters and submit responses to get them to go ahead and do that. That's the biggest part that's going to make a difference right now. Things are moving hour by hour so quickly that we really need a lot of people to jump in and ask for that payroll protection plan and get that done, because that's something that they're looking at. There's different packages around there. There's been COVID 1, 2, and 3. They've named it in succession as far as when they pass these packages. They're looking at doing a 3.5, and what they really need is the extra shove to go ahead and get that payroll protection plan done and added on this time around, whether they're waiting for COVID 4. There's a lot of people that really missed out on the application period and really need that money right now, that either didn't know about it or anything. But the best thing to do is whenever any of these aids come up about is to share them on social media, share them with friends, because it's a lot of times it's a first come, first serve on these things, and you have to really jump on them quickly. But also some of them, like the Washington County package, if you've got something from another, like for example Tigard or somewhere like that, you can't qualify for it. So it's good to pass it on to those people that maybe missed the first batch and jump onto another one. Question is, have you considered a buy local program when you reopen? Right now, we're trying to. I think we'll keep adding to that. So we're trying to list on our. We have a list of what businesses are open right now on the city. Yeah. So right now, the city does have on the webpage and on the social media as far as which businesses are open, and we keep that up to date. So it's a great way to see which businesses are opening, which ones will be opening, and go ahead and go support those businesses. As more and more keep opening, we're going to do our best to get those out there and let people know. What I've been doing, and I think the best thing for people to do too, is not only for the city, but when you do go frequent a business, on your social media or anything like that, take a picture of it just to let people know that it's open and you can do takeout. A lot of people aren't sure which restaurants are open, which ones are not. And also a big part too is DoorDash. A lot of these businesses are really taking advantage of DoorDash. And I know also downtown Tigard, businesses like Symposium, Beachhead Deli, they've done also curbside pickup, so you can go ahead and call pull up to the curb, they'll come out to the vehicle, give you your order, and they can collect their payment on the phone. So a lot of these businesses have been adapting to ways to go ahead and still keep the social distancing. You go ahead and get your food in a healthy way, but also support local businesses.
Highlighted one.
What's the best source for up-to-date info and recovery research? Is this through the city or?
That was a question.
Okay. I think the best way, I've been posting a lot on my social media as far as what's going for recovery for businesses and so forth. The city has some. I think we can maybe do a little bit more as far as trying to get out there. Is that what we have right now?
I'll post the link.
So the city does have a link as far as the COVID biz support, and that we'll keep up to date. So follow that link as far as ways to get involved. The thing is that everything's changing hour by hour, so I think sometimes you have to keep open to different sources. Follow the city, follow elected officials, follow the Chamber of Commerce. The League of Oregon Cities is a great resource as well. And I don't know if you can find a link to that, but every Friday at 10 o'clock or 10:05, the League of Oregon Cities does a call where you can call and listen. And there's been calls from the governor's office, the Oregon Health Authority, the Employment Division, small business, the SBA, and it's been a great call where there's been about 300 to 400 people on it every week, and that's a great way to stay up to date what's going on there. And people go to the League of Oregon Cities Facebook page, or we'll also share this in here of how to find that as well. That's a great way to get on a call, get a quick update what's going on, and ask questions, or even send in questions on that as well. But I think the biggest thing is you're going to have to, right now it's hard to, I think, get something that's going to be current and up to date. By the time you might update it, might change in another hour. I'm constantly getting emails throughout the day on calls where hour to hour, something that was talked about earlier, a couple hours later can change. Council, we haven't talked more yet about what we thought about doing for businesses. I think really we'd like to hear from businesses what they see as a need from us. The problem is that the city can't do everything. I think the biggest thing we can really do is be an advocate on the federal and state level, but we'd also like to hear what we can do as a city and a city council, whether it's promoting businesses through our social media and have people come support them, if there's anything we can do for extra services. I did have someone message me earlier before this call started, and they did notice that with businesses being shut down, that they're starting to see people doing more graffiti or tagging, things like that. What would be helpful for us is if businesses can write into us or communicate. And we do have, and I'll go ahead and post this as well, we do have an email that goes to the city manager, assistant city manager, and all of council and the mayor. And if you go ahead and post anything you see in the community, everything that's going on, we can go ahead and take care of that. I think really what's going to be important is to have businesses looking out for each other, but we don't know what's going on unless we don't hear about it. So that's something I recently heard about, is a lot more gangs or people tagging businesses and so forth. So if we find out that, we can talk to the police department, see what we can do to maybe get a little more patrol or get out there. I have seen with the nicer weather that our officers are out there riding on, doing bike patrols on bicycles, getting out there and being present. So that does make a difference riding through the businesses, through our trails and everything like that. There was a question for, do you think local cities smaller than 500,000 will get federal funding? So a little bit background on this is that currently in COVID-3, it was passed to the federal level, there was money given to cities 500,000 population or more, but there's only about 19 cities in the entire United States that have populations of 500,000 or more. So something that's being talked about in this COVID 3.5 funding measure is to give support to cities. With all this going on and less revenue coming through, cities aren't getting as much as everyone else as well. And it's going to start affecting staff. I've even heard, I was on the call earlier today with the National League of Cities, and they were talking about a lot of communities are seeing having to do reductions in police just because they're not bringing the money in as much. And so we're looking at, there was a form that was signed today that I put a request in that the federal government does look at giving funding packages to help out cities that are smaller than 500,000. You get a lot of rural communities, suburbs, areas like that, they're being hit hard by this, that they're not sure if they're going to be able to pay the bills, keep it open, or keep providing the services that are needed to the residents. With the question was any timeline for when the city will reopen, or it'll be a phased reopening. That's going to follow along with the state and everything that's going on. Is basically when things are opening. There's talks of maybe start looking at opening some businesses May 1st or May 15th. Everything's changing day to day, but the biggest worry and concern is that as a spike in numbers going up with COVID-related deaths or exposures, is if we open up too soon, do we spike and have to start this all over again? How do we slowly start reopening? And I believe the city will go ahead and reopen once those businesses start doing it. We are doing working remotely, so the city still is functioning. We're still getting a lot of the work done. All the staff members are working remotely, and we're finding ways to still take care of everything we need to. If there's any areas that people feel like they're not getting the proper service or anything needs to be changed, again, council mail is a great way for people to go ahead and send a comment in. Mention maybe that something wasn't working quite right, or they have a question of wanting to know a different way they can get questions answered or interact with the city. There was a question is how does COVID impact the police service levy? As some people may or may not know, we do have a public safety levy coming up on the ballot May 19th. This was decided and put on the ballot at the end of last year before any of this happened. And interesting things, I've heard a lot of people that don't realize there's actually going to still be an election this May. And so this election's still on. There's going to be a lot of different things on there. There's the Tiger Police Safety Levy on there. There's going to be a lot of state and local races on there, anywhere from Metro Council has some seats on there. We also have House Representatives and Senators are going to be on there as well. There's going to be, I think, Secretary of State, along with Treasurer. So there's going to be a lot of different things and levies on there as well. So yes, the levy's going to be on there. It's affected, I think, a little bit as far as people wonder why we still are going out for a levy and asking for people to support the police. And in this time, we actually got a report from our chief of police. And from this time last year, we've had 60% or more increase in in-person crimes, assaults. A lot of different crimes have gone up, and it's not necessarily related to COVID. So we've actually seen a huge increase to more calls and a variety of different calls that weren't the normal. It used to be that police officers responded to a call, it would be pretty much either a robbery or a person crime, but now we're seeing a lot more of mental health and areas like that need to be addressed. And so this levy is going to focus on mental health and de-escalation training. And so with that being a huge focus, it's something we definitely need. And the one thing I've been saying to people too is this doesn't take effect until November as far as when the levy passes. It doesn't really start affecting your property taxes to that point. And you're looking at about, for the average home in Tiger, $6 a month for this levy if it passes. Does the state of Oregon do anything for businesses? The biggest part is we're trying to work still on the unemployment benefits for employees. That's something that's being worked on. Recently, I think it was last week, the governor did decide to follow the federal government and give that week of waiting period to employees, which is going to be a big push. We're also trying to make sure that $600 every week that's being added to the employment benefits is also on there. Beyond that, I haven't heard any specific programs that the state of Oregon is doing for businesses. With the city bracing for a shortfall in revenue in the future, we do have our budget cycle coming up in a couple weeks, about a month. We'll start working on the budget, and at that point we're going to take a look at it, see what effect this has had on us, how we're going to make adjustments, and how we're going to adapt to this. We do have some bit of emergency fund set up for this. It may not be enough, but this definitely is going to have an effect on our revenues and what's going to happen in the city. Which is more, and I can't kind of plead enough that we more of a need for why we need to have a safety levy passed, where we make sure we can keep at least the officers patrolling our city and keeping safe and being out there interacting with everyone. Another question: how has COVID-19 impacted me personally? I think with everyone, it's just really affected really how business is done, how we interact with people. We found tools like this where we can get out there in the community and still talk to people. To me, I really have trying to find more of a way to try to help businesses, help people in this situation. There's so many different questions, so many things going on, and also people being affected in so many different ways. And I've been finding myself really answering a lot of questions, helping people. I have a business owner I was talking to the other day that thought he was going to qualify for the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program. So he had his employees not file for unemployment, thinking it was going to kick in right away. Well, there was a delay in it happening, and then a couple weeks went by. Then he didn't realize he could have his employees file for unemployment, and then when the PPP kicked in, then go ahead and pay them and go ahead and continue that program. So the biggest things I've been trying to do is get the word out there, messaging, do a Q&A like this to find out what people may or may not know, or what programs are out there to let people know to help them out. The biggest part right now is just so many things are changing, trying to work on it and trying to get as many resources as we can for the city Tigard. That's the biggest thing, is to hear what we need, but also get on these calls and continually on every day and make sure that Tigard and Oregon gets the most we can, our businesses and our residents as well.
Have you heard from a lot
Have I heard from businesses?
Have you heard from a lot of businesses?
I've been hearing for some that I'd like to hear from more. The city council mail is a great way, but also it can't want to post my city email as well, and my phone number. I'm available anytime during the day, evening, weekends. Please give me a call or send me an email and talk to me about what's going on in your situation, what you need, what maybe you feel is missing. That's the best way for me to really know, is to hear from everyone personally, and that's what I was hoping from this and hoping to get from this. With Facebook Live, it's not as much of a face-to-face communication, so I'd always love to talk to people, set up a Zoom call, talk to a couple different businesses, but I really want to know what's missing, what businesses feel they need, what they're not getting, and how the city can help, and what we can do on the state and federal level for businesses and our community members. Do we know on, I don't know if Lloyd knows anymore, maybe what the Oregon's doing for businesses, and then we really have are we tracking any cases in Tigard? Do we have any statistics on that?
Can't do it. It's done by county.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we only have numbers by county right now, so we don't really have any numbers by the city as far as those affected or how many cases of COVID-19 we do have. But we can post or we can get out there the numbers that are in the county. Question, what can we do to support local businesses right now? With that, I think there's multiple ways. Some people, I've noticed there's a couple different types of people right now during this current scenario. Some people that feel comfortable going out, some people that don't. And so I think the people that don't feel comfortable going out, DoorDash is a great way to go ahead and get food and so forth for businesses. Go online and buy gift cards. I've seen that program listed many times on social media. If you can go to people's website, get some gift cards, and wait till this is all over and they go ahead and use this, but it helps those businesses get by. Go ahead and share on social media what businesses are doing. Try to just swing in, get a cup of coffee, get a sandwich, and the biggest part is buy local. If you're doing anything for your businesses, I've been on a couple different calls, and a lot of times businesses right now are saying, this is a great time to update your HR manual. It's a great time to work on your social media presence. Find some local companies that can do social media, can work on get your social media out there, updating your web page, starting a newsletter. Now, right now is a great time to start doing a newsletter, talking to your clients, so they can go ahead and know you're there, they know you're open. If you're looking for home improvement projects, you're looking at buying something, looking for cooking recipes, anything like that. It's just a great way to share what other local businesses are, but also support them. When you're buying something and doing something, I heard someone say that if you're looking for items on Amazon, you're looking for places out there, see if there's someone local that offers that same service, but maybe it's a couple dollars more. Go ahead and buy from that local person, buy from that local shop, and then support them. That's the biggest thing that can help. A lot of businesses I'm talking to right now, they've really cut staff back. They're on unemployment, their staff is, but those business owners are working just to basically pay the rent and keep the shop open. They're not really making anything extra, so anything you can give will really keep those businesses open and help them out.
Is the city working with Washington County to help?
So is the city working with Washington County to help businesses? Yes. Washington County did follow the Tiger Cares program, and they had that open for 2 days last week, and they got out there. I think there's over 2,000 requests for assistance from Washington County, and so they're still working on those, getting out loan programs. They gave up grants and everything like that. So the county as well got out there and supported and helped. The one thing is on these programs, and that's why every time a new one pops out, it's good for those that get it, is there's such a need, but there's a limited amount of money to get out there. So Washington County did get it out there as well. So the next one really that's open that's going to help businesses is if you can get onto that national chamber. That's going to be the place to go ahead and go and help out. And as we hear about more businesses or things that open up, I know that sometimes even I've heard of like companies like Intel or Nike doing their own individual grants. So as we see those, we'll try to get those out. I think what's going to happen is, as long as this keeps going on, you'll see other different creative resources for people to get resources to help businesses. Any advice for businesses planning on opening in Tigard and now are struggling? That's the hard one. I mean, if a business was planning on opening in Tigard and hasn't, that's a hard one as far as what to do in kind of the waiting period. That's always the hardest part, is to open a business and all the money you outlay and it doesn't open. What I would suggest is any businesses that may have thought about opening and have had to pause is still continue your social media outreach. Maybe do some pre-sales. Talk about what your product is and do some pre-sales, and saying that due to COVID-19, we've had to hold off on our opening. We started the process, but this is what our product is, this is what our service is, and we need 100 or 200 customers to go ahead and pre-buy this gift card or item, and once everything's back, you'll be the first people in line or some kind of a service. I think that's the best way, is to get really creative. Another thing, going back to the social media and newsletters, with everyone getting so much email, social media posts, businesses really need to focus more on doing 2 to 3 times as many posts on social media as they have in the past. Do twice as many newsletters and get out there. But right now is really, if people see you and hear about you right now, they'll remember you for years to come. So this is really the time to show what you can do for the community, who you are, what you offer, and I think it will come back tenfold.
It's a question from the chamber here.
Okay, so there's a shop local, is that a city page or?
Yeah.
Okay. So can't go ahead and post it again. There's engage Tigard-Oregon.gov shop Tigard, and that's where you go to that to see what's open, who you can go ahead and take care of and help out, and what businesses you can go ahead and frequent.
Yeah, I'll post that again.
Yeah, go ahead and post that again. And did you post the link to the League of Oregon Cities?
I need to get that.
Okay. We'll go ahead and post the link to the League of Oregon Cities, which I mentioned earlier, which is a great resource for people to jump on the call at 10:05 every Friday morning. There's talk about maybe expanding it. Last week there was also the CEO of PGE, Maria Pope, was on there as well. It's a great way to get a quick recap of what's going on, what's currently going on, and up-to-date news.
What will the new normal look like for businesses?
The new normal, I think a big part of this we realize through this is that there's a lot of businesses that can take a lot more advantage of social media. There's ways for people to get the word out about their companies. I think that with the city, it's been mentioned a few times that a lot of times the city communicates with businesses or the community through in person. And I think with both businesses, the city, that we're finding new ways to go ahead and reach people in a quicker manner, get our message out there, doing Zoom calls. I think a great way for businesses is to get on Zoom and maybe talk about something that's going on, or your ideas, doing a lot more social media, doing videos, making it more personable. I know that for a while, a lot of businesses have talked about how it's kind of got stale, a lot of people go online. I think this is going to bring it back to more of that personal touch of, you know the owner of a business, or you know those faces of those employees, and this is really going to bring you back to, we're local, we're all in this together. And so I think the new normal for business is going to be is just that personal touch. I think people are going to, when this businesses start back opening and we start going back out to our normal lives, people are going to want a personal touch. They're going to want to know, they want to see someone's face, they're going to want to know someone knows their name, they know the business's name, they know the employees, and getting out there. So I think that what we can do is to get more of a personal touch for business owners would be perfect.
Question about how we know what Tiger Care recipients are doing with the funds that they receive.
That'd be a question for our economic development, Lloyd Purdy. I don't know if we specifically know what they'll be doing with the money that for the recipients of Tiger Cares gets. I know that in order to qualify for it, that a lot of businesses have rent to pay. They had food to take care of. They had employees to pay for. I know a lot of businesses have had 60, 70, even some have had 100% drops in revenue. So a lot of these businesses I mentioned, they're in leases. They're locked into leases for a year or two, a couple of years. They have that rent to pay. So even though they're working and just trying to get enough money to pay for a part of that rent, this will help them out with just a portion of the rent, keeps them going. Other than exactly what they're using it for, we're not really sure what they'll use it for, other than just to stay in business. There's a lot of overhead to stay in business. You have insurance, you have utilities, workers, and everything like that. So that's why I was mentioning, if we can frequent local businesses, that would be really helpful, because they're just trying to do what they can to stay alive until everything kind of goes back to normal.
Why do you allow non-essential businesses to remain open?
I think with non-essential businesses, the biggest thing the governor passed, the biggest part of businesses really need to focus on is a business that can stay open and also follow the social distancing rules. That's really the biggest part that the governor passed. There's been other states that got a lot more strict on what considered essential or non-essential business, and those are more businesses like a hair salon or nail salon where there's that personal contact. But if a place can be in open, they can sanitize their environment, they can have their employees 6 feet apart, then they're allowed to stay open. Currently, there is. I think there is a thing through OSHA where if businesses aren't following that, then they will get a letter and they will be closed. So currently, businesses that can are staying open, and in a way that's important. They can manage that and stay open. I've seen a lot of different businesses where they're having 45-minute to hour wait times of people trying to get services just because it's taking a lot longer with that social distancing, where maybe it's a sandwich shop and there's one person answering the phones and there's another person making sandwiches and they have to be 6 feet apart, where normally you could have a couple people next to each other. So I think businesses are trying to just stay open and do it. If they had completely closed, then we would see a lot more businesses closing or closing permanently.
Is the city council still meeting during this time?
Yes, the city council is still meeting during this time. We didn't have a meeting last week, we had one the week before. We do have our meeting this Tuesday night, and it will be, is there a link or?
It's on the, I'll post the I'll post the link to the agenda.
Ken will post the link. It can be viewed. We're meeting through, what is it called?
Microsoft Teams.
What's that?
Microsoft Teams.
Microsoft Teams is what the council is using to meet. And that also will be streamed live, so people can jump on there, look at it. With people not being able to come and talk about public comments in person, once again, use the council email. If you have anything you'd like to talk about, submit. We may even be able to do something creative where maybe if you want to submit a video about what's important to you, we can maybe use that as well. But the biggest thing right now at this time is to use the council email go ahead and send any comments or things you'd like to talk about. But please do watch the council meetings, as there are things we are focusing on. We're trying to basically only focus on the essential topics we have to for the council meetings, but if this keeps going on for longer, we'll have to get a lot more creative and do our full council meetings. Do we have a copy of the agenda we could, for what is council discussing? I think the easiest way on that one, we'll go ahead and we'll post the council a link to that. And this is kind of helpful to know too, every week we do post what the council agenda is going to be, and online you can go to the website and you can click on each agenda item and it'll be the same information the council's given. It will give all the attachments, a full discussion of it, and all the in-depth details. I think a lot of times people don't realize what the council's talking about until it might be a subject that hits home to them. But it's always good, I think, for people to jump on the website and see what the council is going to be working on, talking about upcoming, and always throw a public comment. The biggest thing we'd love to hear about is what your thoughts are on upcoming agenda items, what we can do, any thoughts. The more opinions and more feedback we can get, we can do a lot better on our policy making and have the ways to serve the public and take care of the city.
Will the budget look a lot different this year?
The budget's being constructed right now. The question was, will the budget look a lot different this time around? It's going to have we were working on the budget prior to this, and then the city manager is making some adjustments to it. And I'm sure it's going to be different, and I think it's going to be an interesting budget cycle because we're not sure how long this is going to last, how much effect it's going to have. So it's going to be an unprecedented, like most things, budget cycle of what we're going to have to address, what we're going to look at. How do we make sure that we're taking care of the residents? How do we make sure that if we have to suspend billing for utility bills and things like that so residents can keep their water on, but how do we also make sure that we still pay for those services? How do we still provide all the services? Like with any business, we can suspend things, but we have to figure out how to pay for it and still go ahead and provide those services. So the biggest things we have to really find out how things are changing and in this current environment, what's going to be different and how do we serve our residents and our businesses different.
How will the city be transparent about Tiger Cares recipients, who received money, why they received it?
So the question is, how is the city planning to be transparent about the Tiger Cares recipients, who received funding and why? And so our economic development manager is replying to that right now, watching the screen. The city's going to provide a report and work in progress update. So there was a couple different phases on that part as far as there was the grants, there was the loans, there was the larger loans, and there was the micro loans. So as long as that comes through, we'll go ahead and update it. So far, 94 firms have received grants. I don't know, Lloyd, is that something that we can list the companies that did get the grants, besides just listing the number? Looks like also about 14 so far have received loans. And the question came in, what's my advice for those who didn't receive any of the funding or any grants from Tiger Cares? Can't post the link, and we can post it again for the National Chamber has opened up a grant process right now, an application and loans. And so that's being opened up, and so that people jump on that. And the best thing to do is just to keep following the Tiger Chamber, the League of Oregon Cities, Tiger pages, any of your elected officials pages, as most of them will go ahead and anytime they stumble across them. A lot of times these are coming out really quick. You have a day to respond. My best advice is that if you haven't qualified for anything yet, and you see a posting or application period open, immediately drop what you're doing and fill that out. It seems kind of a little crazy, but please do stop and fill that out immediately, because when you go in the queue, it's kind of a first come, first serve, as that's the only way people really kind of figured out how to do this. And another thing I'll repeat is that I'm working diligently on the state and federal level to have the federal government open up a lot more funding sources, more payroll protection programs, work on the EIDL to really speed up the process for employment benefits to employees. I think that's the biggest part, that's the biggest lag, is I've heard that people have been unemployed for a couple weeks, keep submitting their claim weekly, and they haven't done that. I'm gonna try working on even trying to see if we can get someone from the employment department, someone from SBA or something like that, on a Zoom call or a call like this or something like that, to ask questions to see what can be done or how this can be sped up.
Would it help for community members to contact federal and state elected officials? Who should they contact?
Yes, it's really important to contact your federal officials, whether you contact your federal senators, or go ahead and contact your state congress people. And don't always focus on who represents your district. Contact any of them in Oregon. So we have 2 senators, we have 5 congress people, and reach out to all of them. And if that's something we can also go ahead and post in here. If not, we can also post online contact information as far as email addresses and phone numbers as far as people to contact into them. To please go ahead and fund businesses or what needs to be done. Another resource too is getting emails to us as council mail that we can pass on to the League of Oregon Cities or also the National League of Cities. We've been working on that a lot. As I mentioned before earlier, with the National League of Cities, again, we put a call to ask for the federal government to put more money to the Paycheck Protection Program to help citizens that the money they're not doing and do it quickly. That's the biggest part, is that they're trying to figure out what packages, what things look like. They're waiting for COVID 4. We're asking for COVID 3.5 to get money out quickly, as a lot of businesses that either didn't have a banking relationship with those that were providing the payroll protection program, or didn't have a bank account. All those fell by the wayside, and now the money's out. And so we're really asking for that to be done and happen quickly. And back to the question as far as the Tiger Cares, Lloyd Purdy said that our CEFI partners are collecting details, and we'll share aggregated information as they get that data, and we'll get those out. So we'll continue to keep getting those out. And we'll also publishing stories in the Cityscape, which is the newsletter that the city puts out about firms who've been accepted business assistance. And I'm sure we'll also do on social media, and we'll have play on the page as well, or Tiger Cares will have that listed as well, as far as what firms have been approved and helped out by that.
Has COVID-19 impacted the Southwest Corridor project?
With the Southwest Corridor project, the biggest impact is right now with any levies or any funding measures going on right now, is that a big portion in order for the Southwest Corridor project to happen is November. They get moving 2020 funding measure that will go ahead and pay a large chunk of that. So if that doesn't pass, that could have a big impact whether or not that project happened or not. There are, though, as another part of the federal funding, is the federal government is looking at a lot of infrastructure projects. So they're looking at putting funding towards getting different roads, projects, build bridges, things like that taken care of, to really also help stimulate the country with employment and get projects done at this time. So that might be something that I think that there's going to be a funding measure that's going to be an ask to give money towards the Southwest Corridor as well.
Update on COVID cases by city.
Okay, did you put that? Oh, so, okay.
So Marty passed this along for us.
Okay, so we do have an update on the COVID-19 cases by city, and Kent did post a link to that. Did you put that in the comments?
I'll put it, yeah.
Okay, he's going to put the link in the comments, so you can go ahead and jump on there and see city by city what the impact has been of how many cases. Have federal grants been impacted by COVID-19? That might be something either the city manager or Lloyd could let me know on that one. As far as I haven't heard yet, Roy, what's been impacted on that? I know that there's been a lot more money put into the community development block grants, money that does go to cities for projects and help out the community. So there's been part of the COVID packages at the federal government. There has been stimulus money put in that. But as far as our current grants, the ones that are in place, that money's already been allocated, so that money will be used. It'd be more of the future grants that we're not sure about yet or not. and Lloyd's typing on that. One other thing I wanted to say during this period, while he's typing that question, is something that's important is the census. Is currently the census being done, and a big part of the census really is the door-to-door or in-person contacts where there's a lot of events for people to fill out their census report, and that's really important to the Tiger and to the area, or in any community. But the better count we have means more funding from the federal government, more grants, more money that can be done for our city. So it's important that we share or make sure that you or your neighbors or everyone in Tiger has completed that, or in the area has completed that census or will, as now a big part of them either being able to knock doors, holding events, being out there in the community. They're not doing that. So and during this time, I think a lot of people forgot there's even the census going on. So it's really important for people to get out there and take care of that and fill that out if you haven't. So during this time for the grants, grant deadlines have been delayed, allowing cities more time to prepare applications. One thing I've noticed during this time is a lot of businesses, people working remotely, everything's not working as quickly as it used to. People are taking more time. It's harder to talk to people when you're not face to face. And so those deadlines have been delayed. So we do have more time to get into that application processes and get more of the focus on the grants. And that's been also with the city, with the both the League of Oregon Cities and the National League of Cities that's a big part of what both those organizations do for the cities is help find out ways more for cities to get money, get the needs they need, and get that money in the hands of the cities a lot quicker. What's being done for those facing eviction? The governor passed the moratorium on eviction for residents and commercial tenants. And the city, at our last council meeting 2 weeks ago, we also did a moratorium on commercial and residential evictions. And we also did do moratorium on rents to be paid. So we did also delay the rents for commercial and residential tenants. So that's why it's a big part of, and very important, we're trying to look at for the federal packages for relief for landlords and commercial building owners as well.
Do we know how many minority businesses have received Tiger Cares grants?
The next question is, do you know how many minority business owners were accepted for the Tiger Cares package? I know that there was an emphasis on the program to help out minority businesses. With that, there was a big part of it was to help out people that maybe weren't able to access the federal government packages, as I mentioned before, where maybe a business didn't have a relationship or a business account with one of the banks listed. When it first came out, the program, there's only a lot of the big banks that were offering the paycheck protection program, and so part of the Tiger Cares was to try to focus on the smaller businesses or minority owned. And so 28% of those receiving a small grant, 1,500 are minority owned firms, and about 36% are women owned firms in Tiger. As I mentioned, we'll have a lot more detail too of who those businesses were that got those, and who those were helped out by that as well. And by the time we're done with the issuing all the money, either for the grants or for the loans, those numbers will change, and so we'll update those as they come out. And we have about, one thing with doing a Facebook Live like this is I guess we have an hour, and after an hour then it shuts off. So we have about 10 more minutes for questions, comments, or anything like that. The biggest thing I really ask is to please communicate with the city, with your mayor, your councilors. We're all either with sending an email to council email, interacting with us on social media, giving us a call. I think Kent posted my city email address and my phone number. You can post that again, but please reach out to myself. And I know all the other councilors are also very welcome, and the mayor want to hear from people. The only way we can really make sure that we're doing the best we can and taking care of the issues that need to be done is if we hear from you. As I mentioned, I've heard from a couple of people as far as graffiti downtown or things happening in downtown Tigard. The only way we know about that is if people reach out to us, let us know. That way we can address it, fix it. We've also been here, I've heard a lot about what's going to happen in the next couple of months with 4th of July and what's going to happen with people having, not be able to go out if they have a lot more, some kind of event at their house or they're doing fireworks. So more people kind of throw in questions and comments like that we can figure out and respond how the city's can handle that, maybe suggestions on how people can still have a 4th of July celebration or what they can be done. I know that a lot of people aren't sure what to do with parks and what you can go do there. The parks are still open, just can't go on the playground equipment, but get out there and use our parks. We have a lot of trails, parks, get out there, remember social distancing, no gatherings though. We've had a couple of people that have done some large gatherings in parks and that's not allowed, those will be broken up. But really still get out there and use the trails, use the sidewalks, explore your community and just, and I think right now is the time to, if you haven't, try to connect with your neighbors and if you have email lists or numbers, send out a way, just make sure to stay on top of everyone, see if someone needs something, maybe someone can run an errand or help out each other. And again, I'll go back again with the, since this is more of a business call, is to take care of the local businesses, buy a gift card. When you stop by somewhere, take a picture and show people that it's open, that you got a cup of coffee or you got a sandwich or you got something or you got an item. But get out there and support them, buy gift cards. And for businesses, go ahead and just do a lot more of the social media, newsletters. And I've been seeing that when people do that, they go out there and share. And get on the Tigard Chamber of Commerce is great. Every Thursday morning, they used to have a Good Morning Tigard where they would get together at a business in person. Now they've gone online, they do a Zoom call. And that happens every Thursday morning, and it's a great way to interact with other businesses. Get on there, they break them out into little subgroups. You can talk about what's going on, what's working for your business, what you're changing up, what you're doing. It's a great way to hear what's coming up in the next week. Ask questions. You can reach out to the Debbie Mohan or Catherine or Jessica at the Tigard Chamber. They're a great resource too for what resources are out there for the business community, what's being done. They're a great advocate. That's really what chambers were formed for, to be an advocate for businesses. So they're a great resource for it too. Is if you need something, you feel like something needs to be done for the business, talk to the city, but also really talk to the Chamber of Commerce. Reach out to them, send them an email. I think Kent can probably throw an email there or for the Tigard Chamber, but they're a great resource out there. So let's kind of recap. The city, we're here. The council, the mayor, we're here as well. The League of Oregon Cities, the National League of Cities. There's so many different resources of people that are working and helping out the community, businesses. But the best thing really I ask from everyone is just to please reach out to us and let us know if something's missing or something needs to be done. And then we can also point out where to, and provide you information to go ahead and contact your federal representatives to say, this is what we need, and we need you to fight for us and get this for us, for our residents, our businesses.
The city's featuring a different.
Okay, and the city is featuring a different business each week in the cityscape. So that's something we're doing as well. We're promoting businesses. Are we taking submittals for that as far as people that?
They can email and contact us. I'll put a contact.
Okay, can I put a contact email on there? We're looking at as far as if you want your business featured in the cityscape. That's a great way. And also right now is a great time also to take advantage of your local papers. Tigard Life, the Tigard Times or the Times. I think they might have changed it now where it focuses on Washington County. But those are great resources. A lot more people being home, they're reading papers, they're looking at those things. Go ahead and use those for either supporting businesses or putting ads in there to show people that you're open and help out the papers. They're also needing a lot of help right now too because they've seen, with a lot of businesses closing, they're seeing a drop in their revenue as well. It's kind of a cascading effect where everyone's seeing drops in businesses. So everything you think may have been fine before or working is not. So really right now is a time, if you thought about wanting to put an ad in the paper or for your business or anything like that, please do and check those out as well.
What's been the most challenging part of being an elected official during COVID-19?
The biggest challenge I find right now being an elected official during this time is there's so many needs, and trying to stay up on top of everything that's going on, but really to fight and make sure that Tigard and businesses and everything gets taken care of. The biggest thing I've been spending lots of time on, half day or even full days, is to try and stay in touch with businesses, because there's a lot of change information that people aren't aware of programs, and what I'm trying to figure out is how to get this information out to businesses and citizens, and how to get feedback from everyone. The more I have, it gives me a better story to go back to DC or to the state to really fight for Tigard. But if I don't know what's going on or don't have examples, what works the best is really a third-party story. If you can give me a specific story of what's going on, that's great. But the hardest part is how do I really stay in touch with everyone? How do I get the information out to everyone? How can I let everyone know that there's either the RAF program that helps for the Resident Aid Fund, or how the Tigard cares, or how do I help businesses, or what I can do to really walk them through, or help them with their paycheck protection program. There's so many, but the best thing I can do really is just get help from everyone by knowing what needs to be done, what people need, and then to support and getting that to our legislators as well.
Closing comments?
Closing comments again, just support your local businesses. Please stay in contact with us. Please don't hesitate to reach out to myself or any of the members of the council, the city, anything like that. Please let us know what's going on. Any questions you have, but definitely please let us know if there's any areas that are missing or what we can do to help out for you. And just know that we'll get through this together and support everyone. Think local, shop local, and take care of one another. And we'll get through this and we'll continue on. And anything that we didn't do or anything you see in the future that we should have, please throw suggestions in. If you think there's any other formats, or whether this format work or a different format work where it's more interactive, there's other formats out there. There's Zoom, there's the Meets, there's all kinds of other programs out there. But please let us know, would you like to see more events, or if it would help to get someone from the SBA or unemployment department or anything like that as well, would be great. And we do have upcoming council outreach Saturday, April 25th from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. It's going to be myself, and we do have a couple coming in the future with Monday, April 27th, Friday, May 8th, Thursday, May 14th, and Sunday, May 17th. And those are all on the online, and I can put that in the comments as well. And that's a great way too, where we can reach out. This is going to be myself, then the next one's going to be with Councilor Newton. The following one will be Councilor Newton and myself, Councilor Newton and Councilor Lube, and then Councilor Anderson and myself as well. So we're trying to really get out there more frequently to talk, listen about any topic that's going on, question, anything. Nothing's too simple or too big for us to go ahead and be addressed or for you to communicate with us. I think we have about 2 minutes left, so is there any other questions? I don't think there's anything else offhand. So again, thank you for your time. Thank you for tuning in, and please let us know how we can help.